do another video on percentage. Watch. It's like magic.
Alright, welcome back to YouTube with Lubelski. We are going to be working on percent change. If you saw my other video that was percent of increase or decrease, this kind of plays off of it. And these two things kind of work hand in hand. So just so you know, if you've seen some of my other videos, I'm going to get crazy today. I'm going to use purple because it's my favorite color. Okay, so we're not really going to scribble that out. Don't do that if you have this worksheet. So let's go ahead and let's try out let's do a question for percent change. And so we're going to take a look at this. I'm going to do an example problem and then I'm going to break it down step by step for you. So for an increase of 89% in 1,586 inches, what we're going to do is we're going to use that percent increase and decrease that we talked about in previous lessons. And so what I want to do is I actually want to find how much is, we want to start with, first we want to figure out what is 89% of, so 89 out of 100, what is 89% of 1,586? Now remember when I say of, that means I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to actually do my decimal, I'm going to do 89 hundredths times 1,586. And that's going to give me what 89% is. So 89 hundredths times 1,586. And that gives me 1,411 and 54 hundredths. Now what does this mean? Well, I'm going to increase my original number by this much. So now I'm going to add that to my original number of 1,586. And that gives me 2,997 and 54 hundredths inches, because we want to make sure that we always have our units there. So let's break this down step by step. The first thing I want to do is write, find some spots. So maybe at the top of your page, step 1, write percent as decimal. And all that is you move the decimal place of 89. You're going to move that decimal place, You're going to move the decimal place in 89 2 places to the left. So it's 89 hundredths is your decimal. Step 2. Multiply by the original amount, which in this case was 1,586. Step 3. Add or subtract, depending on whether it's asking you to increase or decrease, from original. So whatever you end up getting as your answer, for in our case 89% of that number was 1,411 and 54 hundredths. I'm going to add or subtract it from the original, and there's my answer. Step 4, label. Don't forget your labels. Okay, so let's go ahead and try number 2. Number 2, we want to find 99% of 3,897. So I'm going to do 99% as a decimal, which is 0.99 or 99 hundredths. I'm going to multiply it. Step 2 is multiply it by the original number, which is 3,897. So 99 hundredths times 3,897 gives me 3,858 and 3 hundredths. Now it says decrease, so decrease means subtract. So I'm going to subtract these two numbers from each other. So I'm going to subtract 3,858 and 3 hundredths So 3,897 minus 3,858 and 300ths to get a total of 38 and 97 hundredths. So I have to subtract almost all of it. So think about that. If I'm decreasing by almost 100%, that's going to almost take me down to 0. In this case, it takes me down to 38 and 97 hundredths. All right, number 3. A decrease of 6% in 3,453 yards. Oh, I didn't label. Nobody said I didn't label. Nobody's here. It's just me and my dogs sleeping. I think I bore them a lot. So a decrease of 6% in 3,453 yards. So again, we're going to figure out what 6% of that number is. So that's going to be 6 hundredths as a decimal times the original number, which is 3,453. So let's do that in our calculator. And we get 207 and 18 hundredths. Now, why am I writing it there? Well, the decrease says subtract, so I'm putting it under there so I can go ahead and subtract. If you have a calculator, then you can use the calculator, but I do like to just write that underneath there so I can go ahead and do that. So my answer ends up being 3,245 and 82 hundredths yards. Don't forget to label. Step 4 was our labeling. All right, an increase. Increase means that we're going to add. So we're going to do 40% of 7,921. So 40% as a decimal is 40 hundredths times 7,921 gives me 3,168 and 4/10. So I put that underneath there because there, again, we're going to have to add or subtract it. In this case, it's an increase, so we're going to add that to 7,921 to get a total of 11,089 and 4/10 ounces. All right. After those examples, I want you to try and do the remainder of the page on your own because these are all going by the same thing. Step 1, write percent as a decimal. Step 2, multiply the original amount by the decimal. Step 3, add or subtract from the original. And number 4, always make sure to label. So I want you to go ahead and try 5 through 10 on your own. And then after you're done pausing the video and completing those 6 problems, come back to check your answers with me. Okay, hopefully you were able to complete 5 through 10. Our answers are on the screen in front of you, so check your answers over the questions 5 through 10, and then we're going to go ahead and pick up and do our 2 word problems before we finish off the video. All right, let's jump right back into this. It says the half dome at National Park is 8,840 feet high. Due to strong winds, James was able to scale only 70% of the total distance. How many more feet does he have? How many more feet does he need to scale to complete the hike? So let's go ahead and check this out. What do we have? So it's a total of 8,840 feet high, but he was only able to do 70% of the total distance. So that tells me right there 70% of means I'm going to have to multiply that number times the decimal of 70%. So that's where I'm going to start. So what is 70% of that hike? So 0.70 times 8,840. Let's figure out what 70% of 8,840 is. It's 6,188. So I found the first part. But the question says how many more? How many more means subtraction. So I've got to do 8,840 minus the 6,188 he's already climbed to see what's left over. And I end up getting 2,652 more feet. All right, last question, number 12. It says Helena used 150 fluid ounces of condensed milk. So 150 fluid ounces of condensed milk to chocolate bars. I think to make chocolate bars. We got a lot of words missing here. She added 33% more milk to the mix. How much condensed milk in all did Helena use to make the chocolate bars? So first of all, we've got to figure out what is 33% of 150 because we have to add that on to the 150 ounces. So in order to find that, we're going to multiply. We're going to turn our percent into a decimal. So 33 hundredths times 150 because the word of means multiply. So 33 hundredths times 150 gives me a total of 49 and a half. So what do I do with this? I have to add it to the original amount. So if I add that to the 150, Helena used a total of 199 and a half ounces of milk in her recipe. And there you have it. Again, if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to bring those questions to the table when you do lessons with me. If you don't have me as a teacher, don't hesitate to ask your own teacher and try and get some help. Maybe your parents can watch the videos with you. But as always, this is just meant to try and give you a little extra boost in skill.
You did it, you did it, you did it, did it, did it, did it, did it. Ah, so excited for you.